Welcome to today's episode. For those of you just joining the podcast, we are Right Media Group and specialize in helping marketing agencies scale their revenue. So if you want to learn how to take your agency business to the next level, make sure to stick around. Our guest today is Kojenwa Moitt, founder of Zebra Public Relations, a global agency helping brands turn visibility into real influence. Today, we'll explore how she's helping clients stand out in a noisy digital world. Kojenwa, welcome to the show.
My God, thank you so much for having me, Yolanta. It's so exciting to be back with you in the UK and all around the world.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Would you mind to introduce yourself and what you do to the audience, please?
Yeah, definitely. So my name is Kojenwa, which also means happy welcome arrival. The etymology is from Ghana. And I always tell people, my parents are from the Caribbean, so they were Garvious. They wanted names that were from the African continent, things that had meanings, right? And so we came from a generation of names with meanings. So that's why you might hear Akua or Kwame, born on a certain day of the week. There's actual significance.
Wow, okay, I didn't know that. That's a fun fact there for me
Yeah.
too. Wow,
Yeah.
awesome. So what exactly is it that you do for your clients? Would you mind to explain PR in simple terms for anyone who doesn't know it? And why is it important for businesses and for people?
Well, perception is everything, right? You see a lot of fights right now over media, who controls it, who's communicating it. It's because media controls thought, what we see, what we hear, our influence that we gain inside. That manages what we think
Mm,
and our decisions, what we do. So it's really integral and critical for every single business to have what I group currently a PR marketing and branding plan, right? So over the past 10 plus years, I've been helping companies to be visible, be omnipresent, be seen. Where can you be seen? Everywhere. If you're the kind of brand that can be seen everywhere, more people are going to know who you are, right? So we specialize in really big placements for clients.
yeah, I mean, it's now more important than ever because it's like you said, like you can be absolutely everywhere, social media, digital world. Like people just constantly spend their time on screens.
They constantly spend their times on screens. You can hold a quick study yourself the next time you're in a subway, for example, or the train, and you count 10 people out and notice how many of those 10 people are looking at screens, and you'll find that percentage is quite
Wow.
large, right?
It's like
So
I feel like and there's less people, like you say, on screens. Like everyone's just in their own little worlds. Unfortunately, it's like you said on subways. I'm actually going to London tomorrow, so I'll keep my eyes out.
yeah, do that just to see. I used to do these little studies in my brain. Like at one time, I was like, let's see how many times the word Facebook come up. And so that's when you realize that a company has become prolific. It's in the mind share of your being. What are people thinking about, right?
Hmm.
So as a business, as an entrepreneur, whatever you do, firstly, you should serve, right? And then secondly, it's your plan of action. What is your media and marketing plan to become prolific, to become omnipresent, as we would say?
So you have been running Zebra PR since 2008, and you even started in film and TV. So how
Yeah.
would you say that experience helped you in where you are today?
Yes, but it wasn't conventional by any means. We all must find our thing that it is that we do, right? There's room enough for everybody, it turns out. Like, don't play into the narrative that, something is oversaturated or whatever the case may be. In my particular upbringing, you were supposed to get a job, right? You're supposed to get a job. Being in the world of acting and being on set every day and working in film is not conventional. And it is an industry.
Mhm.
And it's not easy to parlay that into a role in finance. So the bottom
Mhm.
line is be authentic to whatever it is that you love to do. But at first it didn't make sense. I was supposed to have been like a lawyer or, some kind of magnanimous thing that we all revered, like a doctor or
Mhm.
like a professor or something like that. Or, who knows what people's projections are being cast upon you? Who knows?
Mhm.
You have to know what it is in this life that I plan to bring to the market as an entrepreneur that is going to change people's lives in some significant way, right?
Mhm.
The rest is the marketing planning, the branding, the build out for the commercials, right? I just happened to figure this out because I went for that MBA because I realized I had to bridge the gap, you see?
Mhm.
So sometimes you don't always come in armed with what you need. I mean, I didn't know anything about an Excel sheet. It's like,
Oh,
I think
wow.
ridiculous. I didn't know anything about an Excel sheet or how to tally up, a column or how to do a projection, right? Or how to write a forecast, let's say, or, do a sales report or determine a margin. I mean, this sounded completely foreign to me. And 2008, by the way, was the economic crisis because Bernie Madoff had run off with billions of people's cash. And there came the fall of Lehman Brothers, a behemoth, we thought.
Yeah, and you started an agency that year?
Well, I just said, my dad said, I have this extra rent to pay because I was renting a place in Boston, like in the suburbs called Malden, and it was a hefty commute. Rent is due on time, and we're like, his portfolio's shrinking. I need to step it up. I need to
Mhm.
deploy that entrepreneurship course and that marketing course that I learned from, and I need to apply that today. And that's literally what I did. I literally wrote out a contract for the guy who took a commercial space downstairs. He had a TOEFL center. And I said, for $1,000, I'm going to get you 10 leads.
Okay.
Okay. And I just started getting on the phone for him. I was like, let me use my acting skills and my skills of persuasion, right? Because I'm trained actually in parliamentary process. Some people call it Toastmasters, but you have to learn
Not
how
just
to
a pretty face.
not just a pretty face. I could also really, really nerd out on parliamentary process and getting a bill passed or, a bill pushed through. Maybe my next thing is in politics. I have no idea. I don't know.
Mhm. Yeah, see where it takes you, right? Sky's the
See where it
limit.
takes you. Sky's the limit. Yeah.
You have been called someone who makes people famous. So, what does that mean to you, and how do you help clients build that personal brand alongside their corporate brand?
Yes, that's lovely. Well, the corporate brand is often tied to the personal brand, isn't it? Because when you file for that LLC, as we call it in the States, or that Inc.,
Hmm.
um, someone's name's got to go on it, right? So someone's holding the financial responsibility of keeping this going concern alive and well. So, at the same time, your personal brand needs to be one that advances the mission of your actual company, right? So
Hmm.
you need to be versatile in connecting with your market. And hopefully you're as varied as possible and you understand that there are certain human trends that exist, right? So half of it is learning how to be a good person and a good steward, right, of this planet that we all share. Some of it is leadership style, right? And how you govern.
Hmm.
Some of it is training, right? Was it handed down from your family to you? Or is it something that you came out completely new out the gate? You just had an idea. You're stepping into something new, right? What is unique about you? What is that story? That's what a lot of media people ask me. They go, Kojenwa, present me somebody that Like, I want a story. I want to hear about this
Mm,
person, their
mhm.
struggles, their triumph. This is not an opportunity to throw all your trauma at the wall, but rather to turn, shit into sugar, as 50 would say.
That's one way to say it.
Yep,
PR, I mean, it's vastly changed
it has.
to what it was when you first started. So, what would you say is the biggest shift you've seen?
Yeah, I think the biggest shift is you may be speaking to a cold, empty cubicle for a long time unless you get out there. Right? My theory has always been to go against the herd. It's part of the
Mhm.
credo at Zebra Public Relations. We are a little bit of a herd. You point out the zebras when you see them. They're very
Mm,
unique. They're herbivores. They like
That's where the
society.
name's coming from as
That's where the
well.
names come from. It's black, it's white. There's no difference, right? We are all human beings, right, as such. So I think the more we delve into AI, the more handheld and boutique we become. Think of these classic brands, the Guccis, how they've reinvented um, the Madonnas over the years, right? Like, think of our icons, our share, think of these people who are reinventing themselves constantly.
mm.
Richard Branson, who I encanted one time, who's such a tremendous leader and still like driving into the future without being an asshole, contrary just someone like Elon, like, let's be frank, these are two very different leadership styles stemming in various ideologies, right? Some good, some not, right? So we have to be able to identify definitely types, right? And really give accessibility to people who have questions or who want access.
I mean, touching point on Richard Branson, I mean, previously when we spoke, you shared an incredible story about manifesting a project with Richard Branson and winning a hackathon. So,
Yeah,
can you tell us
yeah.
about that experience?
My God, that was so cool because coming out of the MBA in 2008, again, Barack Obama is about to take the lead. We actually
Oof.
follow each other on Twitter, which is so dope. I keep checking.
Wow.
You're right.
Ooh.
Like literally. So we're pacing about that and like, okay, we've got a great leader. Amazing. Then I'm moving from Boston to New York. And then it's like, okay, so I'm curating clients, but also I have to figure out how to like get on the radar of people I'm thinking of. So I've been thinking about
Mhm.
Richard because I like his leadership style. His whole ethos has to do with entertainment and
Okay.
from music, Virgin Music, right? Virgin Radio, it's all entertainment. You go on the
Mhm.
planes, you feel like you're at a disco and then a spa. He's got
Yeah.
theory.
Okay.
He's so cool. So I'm thinking about Richard. And then I get a call. It's like, okay, come to New York for 2 days. You're going to figure out how to solve a problem, an actual problem. I said, okay, no problem. Now this is for an airline. Great. Okay. So now which airline is it? It's Virgin. Okay. So now we're going to have to get into groups and sort. How does he secure the win for his most loyal clients? That is the challenge. That is the business challenge. How do I engage my most loyal passengers? And we get into groups, by the way. There's a cartoonist, there's Alexa. It was Alexa at the time. We'd never heard of it. Now we know Alexa. It's like
Okay.
a cart with some drinks, and we
Yeah.
get to working. And we fought in our group. Somebody said, well, we shouldn't have kids on flights. We should have an adults only, right? Everybody comes up with their ideas. Finally, what we came up with is let's create some form of hotel of sorts, right? Wouldn't you like that? You're paying 50,000 a year in travel. Guess what? If you're held up, you're laid over, there's actually a place that you can go to, take a relax, get a back massage, go get your nails done, maybe a bed if you need it for a few hours before your next trip.
Mm.
So we pitched that on the phone to Richard. I don't know where he was at the time, maybe in Necker Island. And he says he likes it. And that's the one he's going with. And so he made the JFK Clubhouse. I love
Yeah,
it.
that's
And
crazy.
it's crazy. And then he made the Virgin Hotels in New York. And I went to the opening night for a DJ that I love. His name is Kevin Aviance. You know,
Okay.
and Kevin is a dope DJ, gay,
Yeah.
so flamboyant, and his dream came true when Beyoncé used him. So his song, he got money, he got paid. The minute Beyoncé used his track, he got money. So I like to attract light, you know, like light beings, people who are there, you're there.
Yeah, no, incredible story what you've just explained.
Yeah, it
Did
was
you
crazy.
get to meet Richard Branson face to
I
face in the
didn't
end as
in
well?
person. I didn't in person, but my best friend from Sweden, Stefan, if you're hearing this, Stefan does like the food procurement for Richard on the island. And I'm like, he calls me
Yeah.
from there. He's like, you know what? I'm so close to St. Thomas right now. I'm on his island.
My
He goes, these people, they live like kings. They sit down and talk about life, philosophy, the future,
wow.
where the possibility is they'd like to have a party in the North Pole or something, or on
Yeah.
Mars one day.
But you know what? They've earned it. Clearly, they broke through with their business strategies and like they made a name for themselves.
They
So
made a
let them
name
sit
for
back and relax,
let
you
them
know?
sit back and relax. You earned it. There's nothing wrong about that. There's perception that there's a grudge against those who are self-made. No, I don't think so. I
Mm,
think
mm.
rather, there should be stability for the human being as such, but there are certain people who literally they just skyrocket. They're on a different level, like
Yeah.
mental. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
How are those people differentiating? I mean, you're saying they're on a different level mentally. Is there
Yeah.
any trends that you see like this is what successful people constantly do with their
Um,
time and with their mentally where their
right.
headspace is at?
Right, right. Yeah, the bifurcation for me comes with the ability to read a lot of things, okay? And that is a common thread, right? They're readers, right? So you see someone like Elon Musk, he's got a lot of money, he's got to be successful. Success does not necessarily equal money as such, right? But we just perceive it that way as a human race, right? Our society perceives it that way. While he has been identified as, let's say, a racist person, they're not reading. They don't have the ability to read an array of things and then make a decision. Whereas we value leaders who are read, right? It can have a conversation, two-way conversation, not over talking
Yeah.
someone to get a point across. Rather, it's a ping pong match. We're able to look at ideas, talk about them, dissect them, make a decision. They're able to make a decision. There is decisiveness there and an ability to put money down, right? Someone who is able to buy PayPal has money to make an investment. So there has to be,
Mhm.
decisive thinkers who can make an investment and see
Mhm.
future trends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I wanted to touch point on this after you mentioned it to me. You have a course, PR
Yeah.
DIY.
Yes.
Would you
Yeah.
mind to just let the audience know what it's all about, what they can learn by going through the course?
Yes. Yolanta, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to speak on this baby
No,
because
absolutely.
I just had my
I
baby and
heard
I
and I
was
was like, people have to know.
they have to know about this course.
Yeah.
First of all, it's a number one PR branding and marketing course online, right? Because I teach it. But I've also taught at the new school. I've taught for the city of Toronto. I've worked with really great institutions, and they all want to know what is a business model that I can put into place to ensure that my PR, marketing, and branding goals have been highlighted, completed,
Mhm.
executed, delivered upon. That we executed on what we set out to do here. Because there's a lot of information coming in all the time. And I understand it can be overwhelming. It feels overwhelming. This is a four-part course. We start with mindset a lot because a lot of you guys are messed up out there. We need to unfuck ourselves in many
Yeah,
ways.
I love that.
Yeah,
That's true because there's so much information out there and
so
we
much.
just don't know what to do with ourselves anymore. What do we
Yeah.
focus on?
What do we focus on? Yeah,
I'm
hazy.
thinking that course you've got gives you those guardrails, like gives you a clear path where
Yeah,
you've got to get to.
that's it. That's what it is. This is your clear path of where you've gotta get to. It's
Mhm.
essentially a truncated MBA, just like the one I did, right? Because I have a do as I do method. I'm not gonna tell you to do it, and I have not done it for myself. We're telling you to get the website built over here, that's because 'cause we've done it ourselves.
Mhm.
Right? We're telling you to do the deal with the partners at Amazon, whatever, Walmart. It's because we've done it, right? So we're going to give you the guardrails one, two, three, and fourth will be the practicum, right? Just like any MBA, we're now we're ready for the podcast, you know?
Mhm.
Now we're ready for the podcast. Maybe it's yours, maybe it's mine. Who knows? Now you're ready to publish the ad, right? Because we have to be able to take care of all verticals at the same time. When you're cooking Thanksgiving dinner, Christmas dinner, you've got 4 burners going. One's
Mhm.
got the meat, one's got the vegetables, one's got the starch, the other one, who knows, right? Same thing with PR and marketing, right? What are we doing on social? What are we doing for our traditional media communications? Where's our word of mouth happening? And then where's our leads list, our market, the folks we talk to and serve every single day? How are they? Right? So,
It sounds like there's a lot going on. Like, do you have any steps how they can manage their time? Because I'm sure alongside this, they've also got a life and they've got to focus on other things as well. So, what's the best like kind of steps to prioritize them three burner stoves, for example?
yeah. Mostly they will tell you, and I would not disagree, go where your love is at, right? Like if you're finding that people are
Love that.
responsive. Yeah, to your LinkedIn, and that's really where you curate eyeballs and attention. People are willing to book Calendly calls from you because you've gone to for me, it's in person. I mean, wherever I am is the most important place that I need to be. So I really cherish those in-person events, right? That I'm either attending or hosting. Right? So, for example,
Hosting as well.
right, hosting, right? So those of you in Toronto, if you're listening, we're hosting
Yeah.
Meet the Media at Lavelle
Mhm.
on the 29th of October, right? Um,
Very soon indeed.
very soon indeed. I will definitely be sharing that Eventbrite link. I will pull that up. Publicists are not generally accessible, right? So we are just saying that we are media friendly. We're here to answer any questions about marketing, about how to be omnipresent so that you are securing those leads because you have to be able to make a living off this work that you do. That's the holy grail, right?
Is that what this in-person event's gonna be about, or can you tell us
Yeah,
the
I mean, the
structure?
in-person event, so basically, we're going to have, like, a little bit of a Q&A with reporters who are actually writing the news, right? In the past, we've had Corney Van Hopen, he does the front page news for Yahoo.ca. We've had Daniel Reyes Coca, he's like a breakfast television personality, he does CHCH. I think CP24, Breakfast Television, The Breakfast Show, like he does a lot of the lifestyle segments, right? We're having Shari Keen, she's at the Globe and Mail. It's such a big paper out here in Canada, but we will be hosting a Meet the Media in New York where entrepreneurs can also meet the media and ask questions directly because you guys need to be able to pitch them and see, can you do stories from that? That's what it's about. It's about getting out there live, getting your message in front of people who've been like, I've seen your brand before, right? Like, do
Mhm.
you think, like,
Yeah.
I tell people the Kardashians, as wealthy as they are, they're still marketing. Who are you not
Really?
to market? Yeah, literally. Yeah.
Wow, incredible. And, in regarding to clients, how do they find you today at Zebra PR?
So the best thing to do is to go to zebrapublicrelations.com, and then there's a little button there that allows you to book time, right? And let's have coffee. I am so open.
Mm,
Like, I am not industry agnostic. People are like, "Are you more fashion, more film?" No, I'm all things. I love business. We
mhm.
are open for business. So if whether your budget is 300 a month or 3,000 a month, there is something that you can do to enhance your PR, marketing, and branding strategy going into
Yeah.
2026. Yeah.
You know what? I love that because from what I can see out there and speaking to agency owners all the time, they have their offer. Unfortunately, for example, you can't meet that budget. They're like, okay, bye, next, bye. But you've got that kind of smaller margin for them to start off with, which I absolutely love because you shouldn't give up on somebody just because, they don't have the funds right now. It's
Exactly.
like a smaller package for them that still gives them like steps they can take.
Percent. We're so excited, just filed for the incorporation for media, which will be available in app stores really soon so that people can do their self-serve PR. Why should this be gate capped? It's so rude. And then we're seeing like a lot of entrepreneurs who are racialized and that they're cast away just because they don't have the funds to be able to share
Mhm.
about their cookies or whatever it is that they do so beautifully. A lot of it is, a miseducation on finance, or you just had no idea. But let's empower people to make their own economies. Why not? We were once told that we were supposed to get these jobs. I don't know where these jobs are, but
Mhm.
people are finding that they're having to be able to make things from their own hands. And I always advocate that it's substantial in life if you can make money from what you know and what you have and what you make, right? And that's the name of the game. And
Mhm.
it's an attention economy. People want to know who you are. Well, you shouldn't have to
Mhm.
like take out a savings thing to
Mhm.
get that information. I don't
Mhm.
right? Like we've got so much
Yeah.
with AI now. Like I think we can make things accessible.
Yeah, I mean, touching point on AI, I mean, huge trend right now.
Yeah.
Are you using it for your business? What specifically has it made your life easier? Is there any specific tools you use?
Yeah, I remember when we were putting press releases together for pedos even, and we'd finish one press release and they'd be eating that up. Yum, yum, yum. It's so, here are the changes, and you'd be like changing the baby, put the baby to bed, go back, type that, figure out about dinner, type, oh, the client wants a change. So it's taking a day to write a press release before Chat GPT. And now it's taking 10 minutes, 10 minutes to write
Wow.
so as I always say, like garbage in, garbage out, right? You want to
Mhm.
arm your release or your content with as much information that is self written as possible.
Yes.
And then you can formulate the angle around it a little bit more pretty. You can tidy
Yeah,
up.
so just improve it. So I mean, saving a whole day, that's massive.
Yeah, the whole day, the whole day. And then as soon as that was done, yum, 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 it's so good. Can we get another one about this one now? So you'd
Mhm.
never sleep, really. You'd be like,
Yeah.
it's so expensive because it's really time. It's really a publicist on the other end that's not
Mhm.
having dinner with family or not able to go to that
Yeah.
baseball game, right? Or, yelling for the intern to see if that's complete. We don't really have those problems anymore.
Yeah. I mean, I heard that prompting is very important if you want to get good quality out. Would you have any steps in prompting? Is anything specific you use in order to get a really good kind of final piece?
Yeah, I mean, in prompting so much, I mean, I would say training your bot is
Mhm.
super critical, that your bot understands your tonality, that may feel a certain way, that you're leaning a certain way. Your bot is trying to understand you, and even staying in the same thread is
Mhm.
particularly important so that you're not bouncing around, but keeping certain threads consistent.
Mhm.
now write me one for so and so. Well, it's already
Mm,
trained in memory that this is the overall objective for letter, let's say, and it should always
yeah.
occur.
Yeah, one common trend I've been seeing, obviously, I absolutely love AI. We implement automation in our businesses, and that's what we help with our clients as well. Because we
Yeah.
just think it saves so much time, and there's workflows you can do, and you just become more efficient as a business owner. You really are. However, one kind of downside I've heard from AI is obviously if you're writing pieces or even adverts or copywriting, it's missing that human touch, that empathy that you can really touch people with your story. So what is your personal opinion about that?
I completely would agree. The reason why clients do pay the rate that they do is because they are in an echelon where they can afford to because of that personal element. It's because of my
Mhm.
training at the Art Gallery of Ontario in every medium. So oil, acrylic, sculpture, etching, like all of it that allows me to create the deck that I'm looking for, right? Because it's coming from my brain insofar as how I see it, or allows me to put the photo shoot together in the way that I styled it, or hire the right stylist, or pull what I need, right? To make it all work. Right? Because visually it's got to work. It's got to go on TV. I have to import it to Comcast, right? So then the final has to be approved by me. The client, the way the client looks on the runway has to be approved.
So I'm doing this new thing where a guest asks the question to the next guest without knowing who it will be. So my last guest was PJ Harsma, founder of Red Bear Films, and he asked this question: how do you deal with sales funnel, with your specific sales funnel for your agency?
Okay, so for sales funnel, again, we go right back to PR DIY and we print that sheet that I spoke about, marketing blueprint map. And then we said, okay, so sales funnel are all these things. It's when I show up at events and I have to sell the next thing I'm working on. And then I have to get an email. By the way, I get an email. So I bring an email in. The top of my sales funnel is always Calendly. So that's like the big one, right?
Yeah.
So people just go to the website, and when they hit book now, that's Calendly, right? The face looks different because it says book now in pink. It's very inviting.
Mhm.
But the back into that is Calendly. So that's my first funnel, right?
Yeah.
Then I have the call, right? So that's how I'm vetting. That's how it's getting smaller. Now I'm going to
Mhm.
have the call. We're gonna decide, do we like each other? Can I like you? Do I trust you? Do I wanna buy from you? You wanna buy from me, honey? I don't know. Yeah,
Mhm.
I can buy from you.
Is that just a conversation between yourself and
But that's
whoever
it. It's a
Very awesome.
conversation. It's a conversation. Then, okay, you're gonna buy from me? Cool. There's a link for that. That link is contained in our Square universe, just like when you go to the bakery, right? So when I'm talking to you, I'm talking through our sales portal, but there's still a website where communications are happening on the back end of the front face. Do you understand?
Mhm.
So you have to know how everything kind of feeds into one another. Whereas Calendly, right? Calendly, if I've taken 10 calls, maybe four of them have bought something. And maybe
Mhm.
six of them will buy something. But
Mhm.
right now, the
Yeah.
product is right, right?
Mhm.
To learn where people are coming inbound to see you.
So obviously we touch point and they come to your website and you've got your kind of funnel going from there as soon as
Mhm.
they book a meeting. But how do you get people to your website? How can people find you like nowadays?
Okay.
Where do you get, is it referrals? Is it
Yeah.
content for you? What has worked?
Yeah, yeah, it's again a multitude of things. Because when I
Mhm.
meet somebody and they're like, "Do you have a card?" I go, "I don't have a card. I have a website. You just open up your phone." I literally this is how I am because I do not have the time, right? To like do the whole rigmarole. I'm like, if you like this interaction, you go to the website
Mhm.
today, right now, and you're gonna book that call right now. And I guarantee you, they all do it. They all do it.
Mhm.
From that, we will have the call, right? I will be there. We will be there
Mhm.
together. With regard to referrals, referrals are your biggest source of repeat business. Like people had a great
Right.
experience with you. They're basically handing you money when that happens. I always recommend a 10% kickback. Everybody loves getting money back. And
Nice, yeah. I think you
referrals
need
is
to have a good system in place, for them to have an advantage to refer you. And then because they've been that client that comes to you from a referral, somebody they knew already are with your services or have come in contact with you. So pretty much you already have a trust built with them.
exactly,
So it makes the
exactly.
sale really easy.
Really easy. Basically, you've
Mhm.
done the work for them, like, they've done the work for you rather, and off you go with a new client. Like, if you weren't able to close that client, something's really not good, right? So, yeah, so you're gonna get that, and then, you say thank you with the cash. Money always talks. And then you
Mhm.
begin serving at a level that's even more enhanced than what they expect and delivering way yeah. Yeah, and that's usually our strategy, and these are all tactical things that we've actually put in the business plan. This is very important for you to understand this is not sheer conjecture, it's actually by design.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We also touched point on LinkedIn being the most expensive platform and toughest to crack. So, what would you say is the biggest challenge agency face when trying to generate leads from platforms like LinkedIn?
Yeah, I mean, I tried the Sales Navigator, maybe some of you out
Mm,
there have also, or you're on the premium channels. I again, let me say that the more we move to AI, the more I would seek those private events. I have a sorority in New York. I never had a sorority because you grow up Canadian and they don't really do that much here. But
okay.
it's like dinners, these dinners, a series of
Mm,
10 to 12 dinners throughout the year. Sometimes they're in mansions. You're gonna meet people who are gonna change your life. You have to create time and space for that, not in a rushed way where you're harassing someone, but a way in
mm,
which you've asked the universe for what you want. I don't know what it
mhm.
is. And you should know what it is that you're after, whatever that means for you.
Yeah, I think that's very important. And who you surround yourself with. I actually had this guest on the podcast, and she said she went on this Bali retreat for like entrepreneurs, and she was still working corporate, but like obviously she knew like she wanted to do something else. But it really cracked the code for her once she went on this Bali retreat, and it just flipped her mind like that. She surrounded herself with successful people, and that's when she finally done something.
Exactly. And you remember what I told you about the composite of the leader, the person who makes a decision. It's not easy to
Mhm.
drop K on a Bali retreat. This is hard-earned money. Right? There is fear around that for a lot of people in a time where people
Mm,
are like losing their jobs in the US, it's a fight. It's a fight. Yeah, it's a fight. So, this, and I said it's coming like the old concept of get a job, get a government job, it's
mhm,
not paying off right now for a lot of people. So as entrepreneurs, it's up to us to figure out how to serve our market, find our market where they are, serve our market. She went to her Bali retreat because she's craving abundance.
mhm.
She's probably like hanging low, and I've seen it destroy people where they're low with low
Oh,
mind.
yes. Oh god. They're at the lowest, right?
They're at
And
the
but it's
lowest.
they're at the fear of quitting because what are they gonna do? They're, like, risking everything.
There's risk in everything, my love. Fear of quitting, fear of starting, fear of investing, fear of going outside, fear of spending $20. No,
But if you don't risk, you don't win.
you don't win. That's how it works, guys.
You have to
You
invest
don't
into
risk,
yourself. I
you
keep
don't win.
saying this. I've had so many courses, Kojenwa, before I got to where I am. Honestly, and really, really bad course you invest into, you've been
Mm,
promised the world and you get
everything.
nothing. But I didn't give up. I kept investing.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
because you
sure you had a
learn.
lot of investments as well in your life.
Yeah, one time I even got scammed.
Really?
My God, it was awful. And these guys are getting really good that if they applied themselves in the
God,
right
don't get me talking on that. I feel really sorry for the older people because
Yeah.
they don't like realize they're honestly playing on their biggest pain points as older people, like with their pensions,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's
yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
like
That's
you said
really,
with
really bad.
AI, that's the bad
Yeah, yeah,
side.
yeah,
They're
yeah.
getting really good.
No, I mean, I'm like, we're gonna have to start verifying pieces of mail now through cryptocurrency at this point. That's what
Yeah.
the largest think tanks are thinking about. How to encrypt certain things so that we can know that it's real, just like money. Because, it's a lot of people trying to fake the funk. And I get that to a certain point, but not when it's harming others. That's where we really draw the line. That's
Yeah.
honestly why, we're like, okay, we got to come out with a product and it's called media. And we can at least have journalists that report on real things and have good
Mm.
integrity and want to
Yeah,
tell
right?
great stories and still work for great news outlets and even new ones that have a new take but are not harmful. My goodness. Telling people all kind of craziness.
So Kojenwa, in regarding to Zebra PR, what is your goal for the next
Yeah.
6 to 12 months?
Okay. Okay. So our goal is to move back to New York City for the final chapter, live in that beautiful big brownstone in Brooklyn, and essentially run a media empire, right? And to be consulted upon for some of the largest media and marketing transactions that we're really able to showcase our worth. I literally just finished filming Come Dine With Me Canada. So that's going to be
Mm.
coming out, I think, in November. So I took a swig at reality TV because I'm like, I can't teach this stuff and I haven't done it, right?
Yeah.
So, just becoming a force really, in terms of working with really awesome clients on the precipice of something big, who are ready for this business challenge. Next
We're
February,
hungry for growth,
yes,
right?
growth,
There's
hungry,
something very motivating about someone who's hungry and
love it.
they will do everything to get there.
Get there, yeah, anything. They're like, "I'm ready, I'm waiting."
Just lead me to that path, right?
Yeah, exactly,
Because you've got the
no?
strategies behind it. You're the
Yeah,
person to go to.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's always going to be a risk, exactly like you said. The risk is usually financial, guys, right? But what was Drake's line? You win some, you lose some, but as
Yeah.
long as the outcome is income,
Yes,
oh, then
yes.
that's what you want. You're gonna lose some. You're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna fuck up. Sometimes you're gonna be like, "Man, I
Mm.
shouldn't have invested neither time nor money. That was a total sleeper." And then you come away, you're like years later, you're like, "Well, I did get that one gem, and that's probably
Mm.
what made me that 2K that time." So you just gotta
Yeah.
keep and having a strategy for always investing in yourself and seeing that number grow. That
Mhm.
critical to your
Yeah.
esteem and
So,
mental health.
yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
That growth goal you have in the next 6 to 12 months. If you had a magic wand to stop one thing in the business that's slowing you from getting there, or fix it, shall I say, rather, what would that one thing be? Something that's slowing you down in order for you to really get to that goal quickly and efficiently.
It's just the funding for sure, right? So we are looking to secure investment for the app that we are building. Of course, we're
Ooh,
bootstrapping, right? We're
yeah.
bootstrapping currently, but media is in need pretty urgently if another K that will help us get that MVP up and product in stores pretty much immediately, and I think it'll go a long way in helping us shape the conversation, and then I can just, like, go on tour, right? That would be
Yeah.
my one thing is just
Yeah.
being able to go on tour, like, of course, I have to bootstrap it now until I get that bag, as we say, right?
Mm.
So, to anyone out there looking to make an investment, please come see me or come to the website, right?
Yeah. What is this application about?
So it's about connecting entrepreneurs to journalists, right? There are many entrepreneurs who feel this barrier of not being able to access a publicist either on time or it's just too expensive. Our
Mhm.
retainers are starting actually below market rate at 2,200 per month, then at
Mhm.
3,400 per month. But what we are
Yeah.
seeing is that you have many pre-seed entrepreneurs or founders or they're just looking to close their Series A and they need that publication to get them that hit, right? Well, we have
Mhm.
access to Forbes and CBS and CBC, and we know the writers, right? And we can
Mhm.
broker those opportunities. So the platform will be able to, starting at 29.99 a month, allow you to
Mhm.
see what's available in terms of reporters that you can speak with based on whatever it is that you wanted to communicate. We wanna remove the
Yeah.
barrier to access.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely incredible. It's not only for people, it's for businesses as well. Is that
That's
correct? Yeah.
right, yes, and businesses that are savvy to have an agent themselves, those agents will be scrolling for those opportunities because it is AI enabled, and otherwise,
Mhm.
there's an AI logarithm, right, that's looking to do the matching. So, you don't want a reporter in housing talking to somebody that makes candy.
Yeah,
Want a
of course.
reporter in food and confectionery to speak to a company in candy, and therein the match is made,
So, for
right?
me, it sounds like a matchmaker app, but for
It's a match
entrepreneurs.
basically, yes, it's like the
Yeah.
Tinder of PR, right? Yeah, exactly, and
So
we
has
find
it
out
already launched, or are you still obviously looking for that funding in order to launch this application?
we're looking for that funding, right? We really need that funding because we're paying our engineers, our software developers, right? There's not enough time in the world right now. I've just joined an accelerator with Y Space, which is York University here in Toronto, and I'm sure I'm going to learn some things, but our team is growing and we really need that income, that funding to be able to pay our developers. They are the team. We solicited them and curated them with love. In fact, they're the same team that did the New York Times app, I do believe, and had worked on that software. So we really want to be alongside solid media
Yeah,
companies.
I think it's gonna be
Yeah.
an absolute game changer once
Oh
once
my
it
gosh.
does launch. Yeah,
From
you're
your
super excited. You're
perspective,
like, "It's gonna happen. I just need that funding." What are you saying? You still need another 15K?
I still need another 15K. If I have that, we'll probably get up in the next 2 months, probably less.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the difference it's gonna make. So, in the meantime, we've applied for some accelerators, and we have another one that we have to submit by the 4th of November. We didn't get into it the first time, but we'll try and get in for the January intake as media, and it's like literally the brainchild of Zebra, and you see, that's why they tell you, you have to learn to pivot because as you say, and as you pointed out quite correctly, the game is changing. Things are very different
Mhm.
now. People aren't really picking up the phone per se, right? You're getting like the floor at the bottom, the secretaries,
Mhm.
and the secretary is
Oh.
automated,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's
Right?
more than ever harder to stand out.
It's brutal. It's brutal. And
Yeah.
you're getting the secretary, but the secretary doesn't really exist because they haven't paid the secretary because they're all downsizing and they're not at that building anyway. Okay. They're in their individual apartments that they have to rent because the
Mhm.
business is a little bit shaky and things have gone right wing in the US and people are kind of just like dodging bullets, right? To not be fired for like writing. So
Yeah,
we
right.
really want to empower journalists as much as we do entrepreneurs. And we feel that confident that we can do that, right? The system will have an escrow on the back end, right? Of course, Vogue may be looking for you, Yolanta, you're very beautiful, but in the interim, if you're doing the cover and you have
Mhm.
budget, Vogue would like to know, and then maybe the system itself will broker the deal and
I see.
thumbs up. Yeah, so, it's really I just think I'm just so proud of that concept. I think it's a winner.
Mhm.
And yeah, it'll be
Kojenwa,
great.
thank you very, very much for this conversation. It has been very inspiring speaking to you. And I love like that we touch point on the mindset and how important it is to also invest into yourself because I think it's fundamentally important, especially for people that are trying to make a name for themselves.
100%. Yeah, no, it was so much fun. I had a great time connecting with you and with your audience. And thank you so much for having me.